welcome to the Battle Square. I'm Matt, this is Dan. So, this is the second feature from round 1 of the Spira Open, which is very generously sponsored by Card Cavern. We got Jamie Faulkner versus Jeremy Lee. Quite an interesting game, a little bit longer than the previous one that we uploaded. To be honest, we may as well just get stuck straight into it.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say because I haven't watched this one yet.
Alright, here we go. Again to note, the games are an awful lot slower because they're obviously on a web-based browser system opposed to in hand actually playing.
I don't know what people find easier to test with, something like this or in person. I suppose some people don't actually have the cards.
Well, I mean, to actually test, it's ideal to use something like Untap.in or Octagon, purely because you've always got players available, whereas, you know, in person sometimes it's lucky to get 3 or 4 games in.
Yeah. Sometimes in person it can take a bit longer as well because you argue about stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
we always argue.
Oh, yeah, we found that a fair few times. Alright, what are we doing?
Okay, it looks like they're getting ready to get started.
But again, sometimes online there's a case of mistaken identity, like at the beginning of this match.
Yeah, there was a bit of an incident. Someone else jumped into the game, so we had to reset the video and everything. It's funny because they did actually ask if it was the right person. They just completely ignored them. They just cracked on, started playing anyway.
Yeah, just get on with it.
Oh, okay. Looks like we got some draws.
I can't see who went first. Who's going to go first?
No, I'm sure we'll know in a second.
Really?
Yeah. See, we got a mulligan already. Looks like Jamie. Yep.
Yeah, Jamie's at the top and Jeremy's at the bottom. Mind you could probably work that one out.
Yeah, in this game I think Jamie's running a mono lightning deck. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, I believe it's mono ice actually.
Is it mono
that
ice?
Jeremy's running.
Again, we don't have the deck lists.
They may be available on FFdecks. We will try and find out and add the links if they are.
If they're willing. If they're not, it's something that they want to continue through the whole tournament with, then that's fair enough.
But you can see them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay, so we've got Shiva discard for Sid World of Final Fantasy. What?
Can you make it bigger?
Okay, the Sid Final Fantasy card, if you basically break him, dull him, put him into the break zone, you can return a monster of cost 2 or less to the field. Now it looks like Jamie's had a really good start because he's already played 2 2-cost backups, which is great. You know.
First turn.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want in a first turn play.
Especially with
a red mage.
Especially when you've gone second as well, because then you've still got 3 cards in hand.
Yeah, it's a lovely start.
Yeah.
And then
that's not a bad
there we go.
start.
That's not bad either. So we got a Duke Larg, although he's had to discard a Zalera for it. But at this point, you know, you're not really needing that Zalera.
Is there anything in ice that brings back from the break zone, like summons from the break zone?
Oh, not summons.
Yeah.
From the break zone? No, I don't think so.
What? Yeah.
Obviously, you got Devout brings back forwards.
Yeah.
Bring back summons. I think Rydia searches summons in Earth, but no, from the break zone, I don't think.
There we go again. We see Jamie bringing out 2 backups.
Two more 2 costs. So he's had a really good start. And obviously one of them's Lancer. For the cost of just a dull and breaking himself, you can give any forward first strike, which is really relevant sometimes.
Yeah, I like Lancer. there's another monster. Is it Yeoman that does the same?
Yeoman. Yeah, the monster. Yeah, you put him in the break zone, give first strike.
I really like that ability, but then I've always liked. I can't even remember the backup now.
Well, that's no good.
It's the.
What does it do?
Mackie.
Oh, Mackay.
Mackay,
I don't even know how
yeah.
to pronounce it. It's only lightning forwards, though, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so
true.
we've got. You played into a Setzer, so this will search out a category 6 character.
What's horrible there though? He's had to discard 2.
Oh, one of them was a
tap.
Jilna Bart as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's fetched a Terror.
Personally, I think I would have rather have got the Jill Nabat out. Then next turn, I've only got to discard 1 card and tap the down 3 to play the Setzer.
To be honest,
That's everyone plays differently.
Everyone plays differently.
He's probably got his
He's
method.
probably thinking he wants to be a little bit more aggressive, but
He knows his deck as well. So
I'm sure there's method
to everyone's madness. Here we have Jamie Darling 2 playing Rigby.
Okay, so he's targeting Setzer for 3k damage at the moment.
Yeah, and that's got to be an active forward and into an Onion Knight. And that,
okay,
he's
so
just discarded a Gramis to play the Onion Knight. Now,
to start with 4 cards in hand, it's interesting to see that he didn't just play into the Gramis.
Yeah.
And search out the Alcid.
And then play the Onion Knight, Alcid Onion Knight instead of the Rigby Onion Knight. It'd be interesting to find out why he may have gone down that route. He may not have wanted to discard certain cards.
Or maybe it may have been an error in costing, or just something missed, which it's a common thing to happen.
Yeah, it happens. Then again, Jamie's a good player. There's no...
Sure he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. Was that a Celeste? Discarding a Celeste?
Yeah, so he's discarded a Celeste so that he can play his Genesis.
Yeah, for obviously Rigby.
And obviously the Onion Knight being frozen previously from the turn Setzer was broken, as when he breaks you get to dull and freeze a forward of your opponents. So now he's got 2 frozen forwards on field. Means next turn if Jamie doesn't see a forward, Genesis is going to force a discard and issue damage.
And his Jeremy's just played a Terror, which gets him to lets him search a summon.
It's going to allow him to fetch a summon. So
I noticed he didn't actually show you what he searched for. I think you're supposed to.
Yeah, that's interesting that he didn't show. So, well, it'd be a surprise. I imagine it's probably Zalera, to be honest.
More than likely.
Seeing a 2 cost and a 3 cost doll. Yeah, or Shiva. I think my choice at this point would probably be Zalera.
Yeah, that would make sense with the 2 backups, 2 forwards.
Okay, so we can see that last card in Jamie's hand was probably a Lulu, unless he just drew into it.
And he only had 1 backup space left. That's probably why he didn't play the Gramis.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Lulu would obviously be the more beneficial, really.
Long term wise, yeah, definitely.
But then again, you've got the
You can
Black
always
Mage.
break the Black Mage. Yeah. That's right.
And Lancer.
Wow, so Jamie's just hit a 7-drop on the EX.
Ouch.
So that's going to deal with that Terror straight away. And noticing he's
had to discard a card because of Genesis, and that was a 7-drop as well.
So yeah, it's always funny to see 2 7-drops on the board at once. Okay, so where are we at?
I think it is Jeremy's turn now. Or,
no, it was already Jeremy's turn.
Yeah.
So he's probably just thinking about, probably thinking about getting a forward out. I'll be thinking.
Would be quite handy. That's if he's got any in hand. You never know. He might not have it.
Okay, so he's ditched a summoner.
Oh, he's playing Zalera.
Yeah. So I imagine with the Terror, it's more than likely what he searched out. And that's going to resolve both those forwards.
Which obviously means he's not going to take 2 points of damage.
And obviously it probably feels nice for Jeremy because Jeremy's only got 1 card in hand, although he does have the backup advantage.
See, yeah, having that amount of backups to 2 backups, it doesn't matter necessarily, if you've only got 3 cards in hand, you're going to be able to play more, aren't you? So yeah. He's only played the dragon, which
is straight away going to get rid of that
Yeah,
Genesis.
yeah.
You know.
And he's already got backups up, so
yeah, there's no way you're going to let Genesis attack, force a discard. You're just not going to allow it.
No. Wouldn't be any point.
Okay, so he's going for the attack with the Genesis, I imagine. Attack deck. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I find Mono Lightning's quite easy to run, personally. I enjoy running it. It just sort of
it's everything.
Tramples over
it's
quite
all
a
kind
bit.
of feel good, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, there's just a lot of response.
Yeah.
A lot of aggression. So it always feels nice playing Lightning.
Jeremy's playing Sarah for the discard.
It's quite a shame that there's not really much going on for the backups for Jeremy. So
notice he's discarded the Ammon.
Oh, yeah, no, that's Jamie has discarded an Ammon.
Which is
an interesting choice to discard.
He's had to discard the Alcid as well. Well, he had to discard both cards anyway, so it doesn't matter. Rigby, and then using Black Mage to get rid of that pesky Sarah. Mind you, personally, I don't like getting rid of things like Sarah because it just means they're going to play more. That's if they've got it in hand, of course.
And it does stop an attack. Although, if he was lucky enough to see another 7-drop, that would always feel good.
And we all know that happens. But it's strange. It always happens when I'm attacking, but never happens when they're attacking.
yeah. You're always the one getting screwed over by him.
Yeah.
Okay, so he plays into a Celeste, so I imagine he's probably gonna... Yeah, no, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Get rid of that first strike. I suppose that card... it probably comes in really handy, that card, to allow first strike for any of your forwards, especially in Lightning.
Yeah.
You think you run something like a Cyclops,
yeah,
all of a sudden that backup is very, very effective.
It works well with fire as well, because you can give a little bit of ping damage, and then you can give one of your cards first strike, one of your lower powered cards first strike, and it just deals with bigger forwards.
Okay, so at the end of turn there, Jamie played a Behemoth, which means he's going to be able to attack next turn. But, well, where are we for? Is it 8k? I believe.
8K
so with Lulu, it's 9.
Lulu, yeah, 9k. When it attacks, is it when it attacks? No, when it receives damage from a forward, deal the forward
damage equal to half
of the power. So that would round up to 5k. So obviously that would deal with the pesky 12, 13k forward. Obviously he hasn't got anything on field like that, but it is good for that. Also, if you've got Lancer there with first strike, that sort of thing is quite
pretty effective,
quite nice.
Yeah, pretty handy card to have on field. It's going to stop a lot from attacking.
There he goes for the attack.
I imagine Jeremy would just take a point of damage at this point.
It's quite early game. He hasn't taken any damage yet. There wouldn't be any point in getting rid of his...
And of course, with only 2 backups on field and 1 forward, I'm sure, he's not too happy with his field.
There's Nashu. I like Nashu. Nashu Hildebrand. I think that's a really nice combo. 2-drop backup to give haste to a 3-drop forward. It's nice.
And of course, it bumps it by 2k as well. With Lulu on board, that's
10k.
It's a 10k forward with
10k haste first.
And not to mention, isn't it, when he receives damage less than his power, he returns to hand?
Yes. I can't remember the exact wording, but there are ways around it.
Which, I suppose is really good against the ice as well, constantly being pinged for damage on a dull forward. You swing in with haste, it's going to be dull, something's going to deal it damage, it's just going to go back to your hand.
Yeah. Jeremy's gone for the attack here.
Okay, so it's quite interesting to see if he's attacking again, because he doesn't have much on field. And of course, with those red mages, it's quite a risky play.
Going into a backup, I would have preferred to get a forward out there, wouldn't you?
I would definitely want a forward at that point.
Because you're going to risk.
Yeah, if
got
Jamie
Nashu
can
there.
enter a forward, he could automatically give it haste, and that's 3 points of damage.
Yeah, there
we
you go. Hildebrand.
So
But
Hildebrand comes in.
potentially, if he had more cards in hand, potentially he could have got 2 forwards out there and given the other one haste as well with red mage. So that's potentially 4 points of damage in one turn.
Yeah.
Hildebrand, another one with haste, Rigby and Behemoth.
I don't know if it would have been costed to use both of... Oh no, I suppose you only use one red mage.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay, so there we go. Look, 3 points of damage. So that could not have felt good at that point.
4 points of damage in Jeremy's on now. I don't know what Jamie's on.
I believe it's 1 or... No, 2 points. Yeah, because it was the 7 drop on first and then the Nashu.
Here's Jeremy with 5 cards in hand.
I really don't like the image on that Hildebrand card, man.
Isn't that the one you called Div? He looks like a div.
Well, what is he doing?
Yeah, he's
Is he like flexing?
No, it looks like he's like dancing or something.
It's like flexing / dancing.
I don't know what he's doing. Looks like
He
you
probably
when we
don't
go
know what
out.
he's doing.
It looks like you when we go out drinking.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, the hairstyle. I'm damn sure you had a hairstyle like that once. Once upon a time.
No, I don't know. I definitely don't have white shoes.
They're not white.
Aren't they?
No.
I don't know. There's something not right about that guy. Okay, so I'm guessing Jeremy's just taking some time to have a good think about what's going on, because I think if Jeremy attacks here and doesn't have any answer to the forwards, then Jamie could be looking at lethal damage to...
Well, it'd be end game.
Because Jeremy's already on 4. It only takes 3 more points of damage for end game, so it's a tough spot to be in.
Apart from EX, but to be fair...
Yeah, okay, yeah, of course.
Ice doesn't really have... Well, it does have ways to deal with, but things like 7 drops aren't going to appear randomly. Well, they could do, but I wouldn't have thought so. He's gone for the attack. There's a Seymour in Jamie's breaking zone. I don't know if I would have attacked there personally. He's chosen to freeze... I know it deals
4k to a dull forward.
Yeah. See, there's me not knowing.
Okay, so he plays into a Sid Searcher. Imagine, Terror. So that makes sense. That's going to enter and deal 4k to 2 forwards more likely than not, to try and resolve that Hildebrand. Don't know if he's noticed that Nashu's on field, because Nashu is going to give Hildebrand another 2k. So let's just see what happens.
He's discarded 2 to play Terror there. He's dealing 4. It's 4k to each, to 2 dull forwards, one being Rigby and the other being Nashu.
So the case here is Hildebrand's taken 8k now. Obviously he's at 8k currently because of Lulu. So it would be a response here to tap the Nashu, give the extra 2k. Looks like they're just discussing how it was paid for. So I'll just show you here that 2 cards were discarded, the Summoner and the Lock.
There's buffing Hildebrand in response, obviously. It's worth noting, Terror's got an ability, you tap 1 ice and you can deal 1k to a dull forward, which is
Hildebrand.
It seems that's what's going to happen. Choose 1 dull forward, deal it 1k, Hildebrand. And again.
And that's just going to finish him off.
Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing to do, really.
Now, as we were talking about earlier, when Hildebrand takes damage that's less than his power, should he not have just returned to hand from the first issue damage.
I don't know. I think it's it depends. We might have to double check that.
And Rigby.
That was a misplay.
Yeah, I mean we have discussed this because Rigby was on 5k and bumped 1 for Lulu, and he had only
4K.
taken 4k from Terra's ability.
Yeah.
There was a discard to deal 1000 damage from Terra's ability, but it looks like he costed 2 from 1 card to make it 6, which is not right.
Yeah, that's
so
not right.
That, or they've just not noticed the Lulu on field, forgotten she was there, and assumed that the 5k was enough.
It's worth saying that
if there is anything we missed there, obviously please comment. Feel free to fill us in.
it's playing an Adia breaking Celeste by the looks of it. Well, I'm trying to think about that play. The red discarding 1 to discarding. Yeah, you don't get the
you can't
CP,
pay 2 with 1 card. So
you
can generate
it is
2
both
CP
of their
of
responsibility to notice that, whether that's happening or not. It's not just Jeremy's responsibility. It's not just Jamie's. They've both got to keep an eye on it. So it's a misplay on both parts. If that is the case, if that is what happened, if it's not what happened, then please let us know.
Yeah.
We'll go over the video again.
We're fully aware that CP can't carry over between like 2 abilities. For example, something costs 1 on 1 card, 1 on another card. You can't pay 2 with the same card for split abilities. So if you can pay 2 with a single card, then obviously it plays.
But you can't. That's not. Yeah, you can't do it, can you?
Well, it's, to the best of my knowledge, no.
Alright, so here we have Adia on field, 7k because of Lulu. Behemoth, obviously the monster.
It's nicely static, sitting there, waiting to block things.
Is Terra...
Okay, so we've got an attack with Adia, and it's chained with a 7-drop Odin, just to remove that Terror. So we're going to see another 2 points here, I imagine.
Yeah. Tap down Lulu.
To note now, I think that will push the damage up to 6, because we did see another point of damage being taken that we just hadn't noted just now.
I'm imagining he's going to tap down Lulu for Behemoth.
Yeah.
There's Jamie just making sure he took the point of damage.
Oh, and a Shiva. That probably would have come in quite handy.
Very much so. I think it's been discussed by quite a few people. Shiva does do so much in this current meta.
Man, she's just top deck madness.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Okay, so there we go. Shiva.
Gets rid of 1.
Deals 6k to a doll forward and 1k more for every Shiva in the deck. So just pointing out here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 in the break zone. So
is it 4?
Yeah.
It was only 3.
Yeah, no, 1, 2. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it was 4, so that's 6.
It doesn't matter anyway. It deals with 10k. Gets rid of that pesky Behemoth. So it's worth noting as well, he could have only used Shiva when Behemoth is made into a forward, because you can't do it to a monster,
so
obviously.
It's always waiting for a response.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen Jeremy here playing to a Setzer.
He's going to search for a lock.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
so he's just trying to recreate a field presence here.
He's discarded. Looks like a devout to play lock.
Yeah, and because Lock's ability, he controls Setzer at the moment, and Sid back up, it's forced to discard from Jamie's hand. So turn pass back.
Be interesting to see what he does now. The board state has changed considerably.
Yeah, so we see a black mage into the break zone.
How's it?
Tattoo.
Give haste.
Yep.
Party attack.
Okay, so I imagine the obvious block here is Setzer because it's going to freeze whichever card doesn't break.
And he's got to block because he's on 6 points of damage.
Yeah.
So it's going to clear the field a little bit. Give Jamie that bit of control back. Because to be fair, if Jeremy attacks again,
well, I
you
mean,
would imagine that he wouldn't attack with that current field state.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough one, really, because I mean, Alcid is effectively frozen down.
Yeah, personally,
yeah,
with that,
I wouldn't be
field,
thinking about
two
being
red
too
mages,
aggressive here.
Yeah, two red mages and Nash.
Exactly.
To be honest, I just wouldn't have attacked personally.
No, I don't feel it's the right time to be aggressive. I would probably be a lot more focused on rebuilding the field state.
Even if you do have Renault in hand, it doesn't matter.
You know,
anything could happen.
Looking at the mono lightning deck, I feel like the only real card missing from this deck is maybe like a 1-drop Kate Sith, something like that, because in a lot of these tight situations with the Renoa on field, just to drop in the 1 cost, dull that Renoa, give it haste, and he's a good card early game, a good card mid game, late game, and right here he'd be a win condition.
Yeah.
The effect for such a small cost, like a 1-drop that dulls on entry, it has an EX.
Now the other Kate Sith, what, 3-drop, isn't it?
Slots.
Yeah.
Slots ability.
To be honest, it used to be a good ability, but I much prefer the 1-drop.
To be honest, I don't recall ever seeing that card get much play at all.
Really?
No.
Not even at our locals.
Another.
I'm
Is that
sure
another idea? Yep.
Oof.
So that's breaking the Renoa. At this point, I'm sure Jamie really doesn't mind having 2 dull forwards.
It's worth it.
Because he's not gonna get an attack. If he does get an attack, he has haste.
It was attacked again. Wow.
Okay.
Be interesting.
It's interesting to see what he may be holding in hand. At this point, I think Jamie has lost all of his Gilgamesh now.
I don't think Gilgamesh has really done much for him in this game anyway.
No.
Obviously, he's gone for the attack. I don't know what Jamie... Has Jamie taken the point of damage?
Yeah, it was the Gilgamesh.
Oh, was it?
And he's just played into a flan. So...
He's got to have some sort of
response. Must. I imagine it's going to be a Shiva. If it's a Shiva, then there's still a red mage. No. Let's see. Okay, so here comes some haste. So that's 3 attacks. Even if he has a Shiva now, it's not gonna stop him.
No.
It was a Shiva.
Yeah.
And here comes the haste. And that's game.
Yeah. I'm a little bit confused,
yeah,
to be honest.
It's interesting to see.
I mean, yeah, he runs his deck the way he runs it. He knows his deck. We can't comment. He's obviously a very competent player. I'm not taking anything away. It's just I'm a little bit confused about certain plays.
Maybe it just got to the point there. I think with 2 red mage on field, you're pretty much looking at lethal by that point anyway. Obviously, maybe he wasn't holding another forward. He only had a flan in hand.
But then you wouldn't attack, would you?
At that point, I don't know if you would survive anyway.
But
because all it would take is 1 more forward, a party attack to break.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I personally wouldn't have attacked.
It would be nicer to be able to block, and if there was a 3rd forward, respond with Shiva.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But it all
I mean, it
depends.
went the way it did.
Yeah.
It was still an interesting game to watch.
Unlucky to Jeremy. Well played. Well played, Jamie.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you for watching the second.
The
game
second
for the,
feature, yeah.
And hope you enjoy the rest of the Spira Open.
And we'll be back with round 2 soon.
Yeah.
Alright, cheers.
Cheers.